What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Paul's Best Podcast, the podcast where we talk about nothing but the very best. My guest today is another person that I was so excited to have on here. It's just one of those guys that we came up in the trenches of New York City, and he is here now. He's so fucking funny. One of the funniest comics out there, Mike Vecchione. And let's be honest, I mean, anytime you could sit down with a fellow Italian, it's just a little better. Why is that?
Set the table.
Is that racist?
No, it's ethnocentric.
Okay.
Yes. See
I
the
like
difference?
that. I like that.
Ethnocentric is just an intellectual way to say racist. But people don't understand it, so it confuses everybody. You're going left when you're coming right. They don't get it, and you can just go, yeah.
It sounds smarter.
Yeah.
It just sounds,
right.
like nobody knows. They don't see it coming.
They don't see it coming.
They don't see it coming.
Ethnocentric. That's what I think the World Cup is. It's like you get to root.
Yes.
It's not racist.
Yes.
It's like but you get to root for your own country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. You can't call that racist.
No. It's cultural ethnic pride.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. But I'm not going to lie. And I have to, people know. And I'm sure you're the same way. Let's be honest, Mikey. If you go up and you meet somebody, hey, this guy wants to meet you. Hey, this guy, the owner of the club, he wants to meet you when you get into town before your first show, all that stuff. If you walk in the room and he looks like me and you,
yes.
it's a little bit, but you know what? It's not racist. It is a pride. Because my dad told me growing up, he's like, Italians look out for Italians.
Yes.
Right?
My father told me that too.
Italians look out for Italians.
He goes, you look out for everybody. You look out for everybody. Be a good person.
Yes.
But Italians, it's like he grew up the way that you did. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like look out for your own also.
My dad goes, one time I went to court and I had a court case. Don't know what that's about. Didn't ask any questions. He goes, the judge came out, was Italian. Gave me a break. He goes, Italians look out for Italians. I was like,
But sometimes they can go the opposite and go harder on you.
Sometimes they don't like because they're like, you give a bad name to something like, how dare you do that?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
But nothing like a street kid that's Italian that's a judge.
Oh, yeah.
God.
That's great.
One of your boys is a judge?
Yeah.
You are not a New Yorker, even though I kind of, you're a Philly guy.
No. I started comedy in Philly, so I have a weird story kind of all over the place. Born in Youngstown, Ohio.
Ohio, that's right.
Ohio. So, and then people in New York will go, there's Italians in Ohio?
Yeah.
And I always say, who do you think built the country?
Right.
Because it's a steel town. I came from a steel town.
Yes.
So it was a steel town, but not anymore. But Youngstown, Ohio, Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay.
Which I had a great time in Boca Raton, Florida. I loved it.
Yeah.
And graduated high school from there. Went to Penn State University.
You went to high school in Boca?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Boca Raton Community High School, home of the Bobcats.
You have a
Yes.
Yeah, you have a different, and then you were a teacher in
Went to Penn State University.
Okay.
Then moved to Philly.
Okay.
Became a teacher, and started comedy in Philly at the Laugh House.
Oh, yeah, I remember the Laugh House.
South Philadelphia.
Rest your soul.
Yes.
I did the urban nights at the Laugh House.
Yes, I mean it was an urban club.
Shout out Naeem Lynn.
Yeah.
Would go, hey, because me and Naeem came up together like in New York doing like we would do all these different shows, and he saw me. He's like, hey, why don't you come to the show? And he said, hey, why don't you go down to the Laugh House? And it was like an intense, intimidating thing.
Yes.
And the lady's no longer. The lady passed away. Rest her soul.
And the place closed, but it was a great place to start, and we started there, and then. The advice I got was do your little 3 years or whatever. As soon as you start featuring, and this is the correct advice for the time period. As soon as you start featuring at your local club, move to New York or LA. Don't stay.
Yeah.
Now it's not as relevant because you can just pop from anywhere.
Yeah.
But back then, to make a real run at this, at show business,
at that time,
you have to move to New York or LA. So do your little 3 years. Don't do 10 years.
Right.
Because then no one in New York cares about you. So do your little 3 years, get a little act underneath you, get your feet, and then move. And then, so it's not like you're dropping all the way back down, because in New York and LA, they don't care who you are. Yep. They don't care what you've done. So you still have to have that grind mentality.
Yeah. So wait, what do you claim? You'd have to claim Ohio is where where you're from. Okay.
Originally from, but
How long were you in Boca? How long were you in Boca for? Were you like a kid when you moved there?
Yeah, sophomore, and we moved back and forth. So that's another thing that's kind of a convoluted story.
Yes.
We moved in 1981, moved back to Ohio in 86. So I did 2 years in high school in Ohio, learned to wrestle, all that stuff in Ohio, and then moved back down to Florida my sophomore year. I did sophomore, junior, and senior year in Florida, and then moved back to go to college at Pennsylvania.
Youngstown, Ohio. I just saw a lot of boxers from there.
Yeah.
Would you have been a fighter if you weren't a comic? Because I see that in you.
I love boxing. I think individual sports translate to stand-up comedy. I don't know if you agree.
I 100% agree. As a matter of fact, Chris Rock has always compared. Chris Rock said his biggest comparison with a sport in comedy is boxing.
Yeah. I love boxing. I'm a huge fan. And it didn't come until later in life. Well, me and my father really bonded over boxing. But Youngstown is, we have Ray Mancini, Boom Boom Mancini, who I watched growing up. We used to sit, and it was like a religious event to watch his fights. And in like 81, 82, we just moved to Florida.
Italian?
Yeah.
He's Italian, yeah.
Yes.
Didn't he?
Mancini.
He got into a fight where somebody died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, rest their soul.
He fought a fighter called Dooku Kim.
Dooku Kim, rest his soul.
And it was a brutal fight, and I think maybe the fight was stopped, but it was after the fight he had like a brain bleed and then passed away.
Right, he didn't die in the ring.
No.
Okay, that was brutal.
But he died, and I remember like Mancini was like really torn up over it. He's like a family man. And
that'll bother him forever.
Really torn up over it.
Yeah. And
then the mother committed suicide after because her son died.
Oh.
Yeah. Brutal.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's about the time period where they went from 50, because the championship fights used to be 15 rounds. 15 rounds is crazy. They cut him to 12 because of that, because of his brain. He had a brain bleed.
15 rounds is now looking back.
Yeah.
Like when I see Gotti Ward, and I'm looking at that fight, and I'm going like that. I mean, if that someone's gonna die.
It's insane.
Someone's gonna die. That was the craziest. We're not talking about boxing is not the best of this time because we have a really good one with Mike. But talking about that, dude, like when you watch a fight where it's just like you're going like, oh my God, he's gonna win, and then all of a sudden the next round is like, oh my God, it happens a lot too in UFC.
Yeah, where
they either play possum and then come back. I love that stuff. But who else was from?
I love UFC also.
Yes,
it's different though than boxing. Boxing is I don't know how to describe it. It's boxing is such a narrow scope of what you can do. Like UFC is wide open. MMA is more wide open. So anything could happen. You could throw a kick.
Yep.
You have to be proficient in all these different areas.
Yes.
Of grappling, of boxing,
jiu-jitsu,
all of this stuff. So you have to be proficient in everything. The reason I love boxing is because it's a very narrow skill set, but you have to be unbelievable at it. This very narrow skill set.
I am 100% with you. I was boxing first. I actually would joke against the UFC. I'm like, I'm not watching. And then boxing slipped though, man. Boxing
is brutally corrupt.
What?
It's very frustrating to the point where it's like I don't even pay attention as much to it anymore because it's like these guys.
Yes.
Fight once they finally get some notoriety, and I understand it. It's brutal, and I'm not claiming it's like, well, have you ever fought? But I'm not claiming to be a boxer or anything. But it's like, it's so corrupt, and then they fight like once a year or once every 2 years. Like, that's now I don't care.
Well, that's it, and that's why like big sports talk radio in New York didn't talk about it, and people would call up. Like the Fan, like WFAN, the Fan, the biggest sports talk and one of the biggest sports markets in the country, which is New York. And they go, how come you guys never talk about boxing? And like Mike Francesa, one of the great, he was just like, I'm not talking about it because it's corrupt. He's like, not only is it corrupt, but like we would have to wait 6 months to a year to watch something. Dana White and the UFC, they put on a big card once a month, and every Saturday there are fights.
Yes.
And like there's no ducking.
No.
There's no ducking. The number one ranked is fighting the champ, and that's it. And if they refuse, then number two comes and number one's out.
I love that.
I love that. 100%.
And that's the problem in boxing. It's like, we don't, half the talk in boxing is like, are we finally going to get the fight we need to see? It's like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
You guys are a joke. You're a joke of a sport. It's like when the Chiefs advanced to the Super Bowl to play whoever, the Eagles, They don't go, you know, we're not going to play the Eagles. We're going to go to Miami and play the Dolphins. The Dolphins have a
We know
good
that
fan
they earned
base.
it, but we're just exactly.
It's like, what are you doing? You
no.
can't run a sport that way. And make no mistake, I think the boxers should get the most money that they can. But they should be contracted to fight.
Yeah, they should.
You have to fight. You can't be like, I'm not taking this right now. I'm not feeling this right now. But they have to deal with what we have to deal with, which is also draw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, how's this fight sell? And then the promoters are always like,
yeah.
My favorite is Terrence Crawford. I don't know if you follow him.
Oh my God.
He's unbelievable.
No, he's probably the best fighters that I've ever seen in my time. Okay. I'm in my 40s. The best fighters that I've ever seen. Okay. When I really sit down and watch them was the first one that like blew me away was, I'm obviously Tyson, but like that was 80s and stuff. I'm talking about like technical, was Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
And of course, and me and you have discussed this. I've gotten into arguments with people that saying that Floyd Mayweather ducked people, that Floyd Mayweather didn't. I think Floyd Mayweather, in my opinion, is the best technical fighter of all time.
He's unbelievable.
He's
definitely one. I think all the naysayers, I think it's crazy. You're not watching the fights. You're not watching what he's doing. It's unbelievable.
No, his defense and the way you can't get him.
Right.
Was he gone down once? Has he gone down one time?
I don't think so. I don't think he's ever been put down.
I don't know if he's.
Shane Mosley hit him, and it looked like he was rocked.
Yeah.
He held till the end of the round and then recovered. But I don't think he's ever been put down.
No. Giannis Pappas, our dear friend, hilarious Giannis Pappas, he said something that is really, he said, it's perfect for Floyd Mayweather. He goes, Floyd Mayweather's like shoulder turn, like the way was like equivalent to like, you knew he would do it and you knew that's what his defense was. And it was equivalent to Mariano Rivera. I don't know if you're familiar with Mariano Rivera, is the greatest Yankee closer of all time. And he came in and he threw a cutter. Okay, he came in for the 9th inning, and he's the best closer in the history of baseball. Right. Like if Mariano Rivera came in the game, even if you're only the game was pretty much 98% over, but he threw a 94-mile-an-hour cutter, and you knew the cutter was coming. Everybody knew it, and it was so precise. It sawed bats in half. Bats would break. People knew it was coming, and you just couldn't hit it. And honestly, it's kind of like Mayweather. Like Mayweather, you think you got him, you think you could hit him, and he would do that every time, and they knew he would do it, and it just was effective, and it worked. And he's one of the greatest of all time. And I knew that you were wrestling, but for the people that don't know, and a lot of people do know because you're so hilarious, you're one of the funniest comics out there.
Thank you, buddy.
No, it's true. You know, it's funny. Pete Davidson, our dear friend, Pete asked me to go on a run with him to just do 3 casinos.
Right.
And I was off, and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, come on, be a special guest. It'll be great. We'll go out. We'll hang out. We're at this casinos. We do it. And I had a really great time. It was fun.
He's the best, man.
And he goes, he's the best.
It's so fun.
Oh, he's the best.
I've been on the road with him too.
No,
he's very, very fun.
No, Pete is so fun and he's so nice.
Yes.
And he just goes, dude, he's like, I can't, he goes, I swear to God, he said this. And I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. I'm saying this because he threw you in, but he did say, Virzi, he goes, you're one of the toughest follows. He goes, you and Mike Vecchione. That's what he said. He goes, following you too. He goes, you and Mike Vecchione, but obviously loves you. You said you had a joke one time, and I was just like, it's so silly and funny and so Mike Vecchione. It's like vintage Mike Vecchione, where you talked about how a shrimp is always in like a fetal position.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We've been doing this like from the old stand together, and we came up. I mean, a long time together and seeing each other at comedy clubs and stuff. So like, there's always guys that when they're on stage, you may just poke in or hey, how's the crowd? And I poke in at the stand, and I hear you talk about how a shrimp is just in a fetal position. And I just walk out smiling, going like, that's so perfect. And it's such a comic way of thinking.
Yeah.
But
there's certain bits where it's like when somebody does the bit, they go, that's who that guy is.
100%.
Yeah, that's what you think. You're like, that is like, no one else could do that. That is who that comic is.
It's like vintage. Like when you see that, you're going, that's what this guy does.
Yes. I have a story at the stand following you. So you go on, and it's like, I could tell you're just murdering, and you're doing your thing, and you're murdering, and you're so engaging, and they're loving. You're connecting with them. Yeah. The way that you do, you know what I mean? You're connecting with them. Yeah. And it's like, they're just, I mean, I'm thinking when you're on stage, like he could say anything now and they would go with him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not that your act isn't great, but it's like you had them so much that it's like you're just doing what your stories are very personal.
Yes.
So you're telling personal stories and they're just on their edge of their seat and they're in it, you know, which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
If they don't know you, you know what I mean? If they don't know you, like to buy into personal stories,
Sure.
You know, so you're doing it. And then I go up and I have an agenda of what I'm trying to work out. And I go up and and they're completely not on board with anything I'm doing. And they're just looking at me like, this guy just came up and told a bunch of deeply personal stories that we were so engaged in and we were having a great time. And you are just coming up here and like, we don't understand you. We don't like you. It's like completely repulsed by what I was doing. And I remember coming on stage just being like, oh my God.
Well, you know what though?
And that's where you question, and then that people don't understand this about stand-up comedy. It's like you question everything that you're about and everything that you do. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, this crowd is tough. It's like, no, you just went up and annihilated them. So they're gettable. It's like you just went up afterwards and didn't bring the right energy, or they just didn't like you, and it's very hard to accept.
No. What I love about you though is you never, and you can't, like, you're just like, dude, this is me. This is what I do.
Yeah.
But you always, like, every single time, and that's very generous of you. But I actually saw you like go up and like you're just such a good comic that like you're always just gonna get less, but you just like, hey, this is me. That's what I love about it, because when you're like younger comic and somebody kills in front of you, you're like, what am I gonna and it's like, no, you can't do anything. What you're gonna do is you're gonna be you.
Yes.
That's what you're going to be. You're not changing who you are or what you bring. You're just going to be you.
Yeah.
Because I remember like watching somebody and I'm going, oh my God, they're going to hate. What am I? And it's like, no, I can't. I'm going to be Paul. You got to be Mike. You know, do what we do.
But I don't want to say the courage is a big word, but the courage it takes to go up there and do that is different than what you're saying is right, but actually going up and doing it's like, even to this day, it's like I got to go up and change the energy, or ride the wave, you know, ride the wave of what they're doing, but or I got to go up there and bring them into my world, and that usually requires an energy shift. But
I've seen people leave the stand going like, that guy, meaning about you, they're just like, that. It was just like, that guy's so different and so silly. And what I love too is like, I think both of us have this. Our personal appearance is not our act.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like there are people that like, they think we're going to be a certain way. Right? Yes. Like I've seen you joke about, oh, you look like a cop or this and that. They think we're going to be a certain way. And then all of a sudden, like I'll get like vulnerable with the story, or like I'll say something like that Taylor Swift joke that I did where people think I'm going to be mad at seeing Taylor Swift at the game.
It's a great joke.
And I'm just like, dude, like,
it's a great
you know
joke.
what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's like you too, like you go up and you think, all right, this, you know, broad shoulder Italian guy is going to come up, and then you just are so silly and so like disarming. But I love that, because that makes people leave going like, that's what's great about comedy.
Yes.
That's what's great. What's great about comedy is I looked at this guy's face and I thought I was going to see this, and I'm totally opposite.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to say that the shrimp are in a fucking fetal position. You know?
But you can't judge a book by its cover. That's like for all of it. Like you're walking down the street, you'll look at somebody, you'll make a judgment. Catch myself doing it sometimes where it's like, you'll see somebody, you'll make a judgment. You'll see somebody else, you'll make a judgment. It's like, you have no idea who those people are. No. Really, you don't.
And there are people, you ever like say like, I don't really love this guy's, or I shouldn't say love this person's comedy, but this is not somebody that I would watch, but their joke is great. And I'll give you a perfect example. And not that I've actually seen him, funny guy, but not somebody that I've seen in the clubs a lot. So I can't even say if this guy is funny all the time or not, but just somebody that I don't see in the clubs all the time, somebody that like I just never poked in and said, oh, he's killing it because he's not there, was Colin Jost, right? Yeah. I don't know. Back in the day at the old comics, Colin did a show. And then
I'd see him at Caroline's once
in a
while.
And then I watched him do, and then I heard one of his bits, and it's one of the funniest fat jokes I've ever heard, where he said, when you're a couple, you might have heard this too. And if I ever repeated this on a podcast, I apologize. But he goes, when you're a couple, he goes, one of you can't lose weight. He goes, right? Like if one of you can't really, like if there's two of you. And then he goes, because then it's awkward. And then he goes, oh my God, Greg, you look amazing. He goes, you must have lost like 50 pounds. Wow. He goes, and Janet, hey. And I'm just like, dude, that's perfect joke.
Yes.
And I'm just like, but this is a guy that you don't see doing it. Because listen, he's a busy guy,
yes,
whatever.
He's busy.
He's a writer. He's doing that.
Right.
But it's like somebody that you don't put, and then all of a sudden you're like, that's the beauty about comedy, dude, is anybody. Somebody that you know or somebody that just popped in.
Yeah,
and is just, you know,
I love jokes that are great, that sharp, have an edge, and are also deeply personal. So it's relatable, but it's also like very personal. Yeah, and that's one of those jokes. You know what I mean? Because it might have happened to him or whatever. Like it's like,
or he knows somebody.
He knows somebody. Yeah. It's like it's very funny and deeply personal.
This speaking of that, I'm literally walked into a New York Comedy Club, and they're like, Paul, it's a self-produced show. We don't know the people. And I go, okay, like I was literally, this is years ago. I was walking to see if I could just get 5 because in the city, and they're like, the show's almost over. So I'm like, oh, it's all good. And I'm walking out. I'm just walking out, and I hear this comedian on stage, and it was Chloe LeBranch. I don't know if you know who Chloe is.
I know Chloe, yeah.
And I'm like, as I'm walking out, I just hear Chloe go, so this guy the other day, I went to his apartment, and he started ripping me. Right. And now I'm intrigued. Yeah. Right. Because I'm walking out, and she goes, and then I just looked up on the wall and I saw his diploma from Yale. And she goes, and then I was just like, nah, he's fucking me. And I'm like, dude, that's like, and I'm just going, funny. Dude, and I'm going like, and like, it just hit me. And I had to find, I go, who was the girl on the thing? And like, I brought it up, and I think like years later, she did that on Kill Tony.
Okay.
So like I saw she did that maybe 7 years ago. Yeah. And then she just did it on Kill Tony. But it was just like, that's the beauty about what we do is like, I didn't know who Chloe LeBranch was. Right. I don't know. But you just hear a bit and you're just going like, that's the beauty of comedy, which is, it's a great show. Yeah. And you know, and again, it's one of those things. Like, did that happen? Like, God forbid. Yeah. But like, is it just a? But either way, you're like, holy shit.
I like those jokes with a sharp turn. Also,
oh, dude,
it's a sharp. It hits you. You know, like it's a kidney punch. To relate it back to boxing.
You're married.
Yes.
To a comic.
Yes.
You know, you're probably the first guest I'll ask this to, because I think you're the first person that either married or stayed married. There's been some, some situations, but are you guys bouncing bits off? Like, what is it like to be, I guess my question is, what is it like to be married to a comic in the same house and you're a writer? You know, I remember Soder, when you were roommates with Dan Soder, he'd be like, dude, he goes, Vecchione's a machine. It's like, this guy just writes and writes. What is that like with do you like compare jokes with the wife, or do you kind of keep that separate and your personal life and your comedic life separate?
You know, Dom Irrera had a bit where it's like, he wasn't dating a comic or anything, but he was talking to a woman after the show, and she's like, are you like this all the time? You know what I mean? Like on stage, are you like this all the time? He goes, yeah. When I'm in bed with my fiance, I wake her up. I go, so where you from? Where you from? What do you do? It's like, yeah, I'm like this all the time. It's like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
But no, we. I
mean, like bouncing ideas.
Yes, we will bounce ideas.
You will.
Yeah, bounce bits and ideas and stuff. And but she'll be like, is this funny?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what do you think of this? Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's good because we have different senses of humor as to, there's a lot of overlap, but we also have different senses of humor of what we think is funny and what's good and what's not. So I try never to, you never want to shut anything down, because you never know. Like, she'll say something, I'll be like, there's something there. I'll never be like, no. I'll be like, I know. There's something there, because there always is. I just think you're like 1 or 2 thoughts away from it being unreal. I always think that. I always think it's like,
it's close.
Well, maybe it's close. It's not there now, but it's like, it needs something else. It needs another angle. But you're not that far from it. It's always like 2 steps away, 1 step away. Yeah.
She had a great joke, man. We were at Skankfest in Houston. We were at Skankfest in Houston. And she was just, and it was one of those things where I'm outside. We were on the same showcase. It was the one with like they outside during the day. Yeah. And it was actually a lot more fun. People, the crowds at Skankfest are great, and they're sitting outside, and it's an afternoon thing. I told her, I go, this was so funny. She goes, I look like I drive women to their abortions.
Oh my God.
And dude, her outfit and her glasses. And I'm going like, she does. That's exactly what she looks like. And she's like, oh, thank you. It was super funny, man.
Yes.
She's super funny.
She does. She's very, very funny. Yeah, she's a killer. But, and she comes at it, she comes at it the work first. She puts the work first. I don't know if I'm saying that right. She builds it from the ground up.
No.
She does comedy
puts
the way
work
that
in.
we're doing comedy, which
Yes,
is like,
yes.
which is like we are on the same page as far as like working, reworking, writing, going and trying it, watching the tape, bringing it back, like really dedicated to the craft. So I don't know if I could be with somebody who was doing it differently.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Because then you get into like you're in a kind of a dishonest place.
I love that, and I couldn't agree more. And I don't know if you just saw what Godfrey said, but Godfrey just had a clip online, and I like actually posted it to my story because it was so accurate to what's going on in comedy now. He's like, you don't understand. He's like, there are people in the trenches. There are people that have there's people that have been going 20, 30 years and the jokes are there and they're ready and they get it. And he's like, and now it's like this half-stepping, like people out there and like, you never want to, and listen, there's a fine line between saying doing it right and hating. I'm not trying to hate.
Right.
God bless you.
Me
dude.
neither.
God bless you.
Yeah.
If you get into a theater or you get into an arena and you did that through like either TikTok or like, not putting a ton of work in, but people are buying tickets, God bless you, man.
Yes.
You're making
Well, now you have a different problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now you have to reverse engineer it and figure it out from the other way.
Right.
You know, and a lot of people are like, well, that's a nice problem to have. Yeah, blah, blah. But it still is a problem.
Right.
You know?
But the reason why I think when people go like for Pete Davidson to work with us or to like go, hey, dude, this dude's like the best compliment I'll get is like when somebody sees me do an hour and 15 and they're like, dude, you fucking topped it, but you put in the work. Like, it's like, yeah, dude, this is what I've been living this.
Yes.
I've been living it. I've been living this for decades.
Yes.
I've been standing at clubs at night when I would love to be home with my family, but instead I'm standing at the, I remember being at the Cellar at the Village Underground at 1 a.m.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like doing that on weeknights, like leaving dinner to go do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
or living with roommates for 20 years. Okay. And not having a family, just living in, I had a great, Mandami is in office, regardless of what you think of him, he's in office and, we just bought a place and then he got elected mayor and he's a socialist. So he's like, okay, everybody has to share everything now. It's like, well, I just came from that. I just was living with people for the past 20. I'm finally got my own place now. Everybody's got to share now. I just started showering by myself. So
yeah, you're like, dude, what are we doing, man? Come on, dude.
Come on. We changed the rules as soon as I get to have a place.
And again, like this is not a political podcast. This is a comedy fun podcast, but I'm driving in today and I'm listening to 1010 Wins or whatever, AM. And they were just like, Mayor Madani wants to, they're trying to find a new route or a better route for the buses. And then like without even missing a beat. And they go, still no word on the promise of buses being free because that's not going to happen. And I just bursted out laughing. Yeah. I was like, that's such a funny promise.
Yes.
Right? To just be like, you know what? Public transportation in the city free. People are like, all right, I can live with that.
I mean, the buses have on them, it's like, they have on the top of it, it's like pay fare or it's like letting you know that you have to pay. Because I think that the word gets out and it's like, are buses free now? Or it's like, do we have free grocery stores? Are we allowed to just eat stuff from the
How great of a documentary somebody should do that. I'm not joking around. I think that this would be a funny social experiment. I'm really being serious. You go to a town, right? You go to a town that needs help and it's a fake election, but the person and nobody knows, and the person just promises the craziest shit. Like during their campaign, they're like, "You're not paying for groceries." Where car dealerships are giving cars just to see how many vote because people would vote.
Free childcare.
Free. No.
Leave your kid with whoever.
There's free childcare.
Free childcare now if you just leave your kid with somebody.
We're going to do 6 months a year free car to dealership. Everybody gets transportation.
Yes.
People would actually be like, if you interviewed street, they'd be like, this is what we've been waiting for. Like they're free help. Yeah, just go in. Free surgeries.
I did a joke. It never worked, but free grocery store joke. It's like, I can't wait for free grocery stores. I had a dream that I go into a free grocery store and I go right to the lobsters and there's no lobsters in the tank. And I say to the guy, where are the lobsters? And then he looks at me dead in my eyes and he goes, they're shopping for you. I'm like, oh my God. And then it's like, that's when you realize the tables have turned.
Oh God, guys, that is vintage Mike Vecchione. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. This was a good one. You know, Mike came in and we were talking about what to do, and he just goes, "What about best mob hits?" And I'm like,
Do Italians.
and I'm going
We're
like,
sitting down. We're having a sit down.
We're having a sit down, and he goes, "What about best mob hits?" And I'm going, we could actually do from movies and in real life. And he was like, yeah. So that's what we are going to do. Now, guys, you guys know how the show works. There's no rankings. There's no right or wrong answers. We're just going to shoot the shit about mob hits that we've seen. It could be in movies and it can be in real life, because some of them in movies are based on real life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like
many of them are.
Right? Like,
yeah. First of all, I don't know if you I listen to, my passions are boxing.
Yep.
I love boxing. Like I said, I don't like the business of boxing, but I like the actual fighters and the corners and whatever. So I love that. And then, so I'll listen to boxing podcasts, Pro Box TV. Shout out to, I love Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri.
I love Paulie Malignaggi.
I love those guys. Yeah. Malignaggi's unreal.
Your kid could throw hands too.
He's great. He's the best. So I love those guys, and I listen to them on podcasts. And I also, my other passion is the mob genre. Yeah. I listen to mob podcasts, and I love listening, because these guys who cooperate are all on podcasts now, and they're all talking about everything.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious, and and then there's a alleged boss from Philadelphia. I lived in Philadelphia in the 90s, who has a podcast now, never cooperated. Joey Merlino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he has a podcast. So, and it's mostly on Patreon, but he puts some stuff on YouTube. So I'll watch that. Yeah, and he talks about the guys who are rats. And then the guys who cooperated are talking about him. Oh. It's like a cyber war.
Wait, Joey
on
Merlino.
YouTube.
I want to go down, Skinny Joey, right?
Yes.
I want to go get a cheesesteak down at his place.
I gotta get a
dude. I keep
the last time I was there, I didn't get one, but because I was on 9th Street. But he has a cheesesteak place by the stadium.
Yeah, no, I got to do that.
Me too.
It is.
I want to try it.
It is so funny, dude. Like how it was like code of the streets is like you can't talk, and now it's like there's just like
it's nothing but talking.
There's like Sammy Gravano, right?
Gravano,
like, they're like just on podcasts, right?
Yes, Sammy Gravano's on podcasts, but Joe Messino's the boss of the Bonanno family, one of the 5 crime families in New York, flipped in 2002 and wore a wire. It's like I mean, bosses. I guess acting bosses and other bosses from smaller families maybe have cooperated, but this was the boss of one of the 5 crime families in New York cooperated in like 2002, and it's been slowly, it's been slowly getting worse for the mob, and it's just it's over. It's a wrap. Yeah. And they don't even order murders anymore. They don't order murders anymore because it carries too much time. Like, too many people will cooperate, and then everybody gets life in prison.
Oh, okay.
So no more murders.
Okay.
There hasn't been a murder since like 2011 or 12.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Wow. That I did not know.
Yes.
So what do you think? Like the one, I'm going to give you my worst one. I'm going to give you my worst one, and it is based on true hits. But my worst one was in Casino with Pesci and his brother getting beaten to death and then buried alive.
Right.
Not only, that was probably one of the hardest scenes to watch.
Yes.
Like, that was brutal, and I heard that was true.
It was true, but again, I watch all these podcasts.
I know, I love how you're like, but Paul, it was true.
Let me correct you. They were not killed in the cornfield. They were killed in a basement outside of Chicago.
Oh, so that desert thing was not...
No. They were buried in a cornfield.
They weren't killed in.
They weren't killed there. They were killed in a basement.
Got you.
They were killed in a basement.
That's so fucking funny how you
Frank Collada, before he died.
Technical about it.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. No, they were killed. They were in cornfield. But they were killed. Yeah.
The only thing is, they were killed in a basement. They were a meeting was set up because his brother, Joe Pesci in the movie, his brother Nicky was causing a lot of. He was strong arming bookmakers and other guys who belonged to other guys. And it was causing a problem because he was using his brother's name in order to do that and strong arm, loan sharks and bookmakers and stuff.
Wow.
And it was causing a problem. So they called him in. The leadership changed. So Joey Aiuppa, who was the boss of the family, went to prison. from all the investigations into the casino
Wow.
and the unions and all that stuff. So he goes to prison. A new guy takes over. Joe Iapo really likes those brothers, Joe Pesci and those guys that they played in the movie. So the real boss really liked the brother. He goes to prison. A new guy steps in who's not a big fan. And the brother is making noise and shaking down bookmakers and all that stuff. So he decides to have him killed.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about Vecchione not only giving you the hit, but giving you the
Behind the scenes.
giving you the behind the scenes.
That's how I
dude.
spend all my time. Never had a family.
What would you say? Another one, Castellano outside of Sparks.
Well, let me finish with this.
Oh,
hold on for a second,
okay.
Paul. So they say we're going to have a meeting in this basement, and Tony Spilotro is the guy that Joe Pesci plays.
Okay.
So he's a little leery of it because he knows how a hit gets set up. You know what I mean? And so he's leery of it, but he's like, if he doesn't do it, then maybe they kill his brother, and then he's got to live with that. So he's like, maybe he can talk for his brother, and maybe he has enough power to get his brother a pass, and whatever. So that's what he goes in to the meeting thinking. From like Frank Collada was a guy who was Frank Vincent played him in the Casino. But Frank Collada was a guy who flipped. So he says all this on he's passed away now, but he says all this on his podcast. He's
a guy. Yeah. He's the one.
He was slaying it out like this. He's like, this all happened, and this is why these brothers went to the meeting. Because, you're thinking to yourself, why would you go to this meeting? And he's thinking to himself, he's leery of it, but he may be able to save his brother's life. So they go to the meeting, and they were saying, like, he was in a basement in Cicero or somewhere outside of Chicago, and they beat him to death with blunt objects, because the gunfight's a suburban neighborhood, so a gunfire would cause people to call the cops. So that's why they didn't use a gun.
Oh, so that's why.
So they beat him to death because it's quieter, and then they took the bodies to a cornfield and buried them.
I'll say this to you. If there was a college course on this, you would be. I
just listened to all of it. I'm just a mob genre fan.
Wow.
So I listened to all of it, but it's like crazy to make that decision where it's like you're walking and you're walking in unarmed. That's a rule, I guess. It's a rule. You can't be armed when you go to these meetings. But they call you in, and it's like he had to think. It's like this could.
It's for
maybe
his
somebody
brother.
guaranteed it. Maybe somebody he trusted. That's the thing I don't like about the whole genre. It's like your best friend walks you in. It's like, I don't love that. I don't like. You're killing your friend. You're killing your best friends. Well, there's rules. It's like maybe so.
Yeah.
But if you have a leader enforcing, and the leader's not a good leader, and they're just enforcing whatever rules, they're greedy or whatever.
Yep.
They
friendship
can morph
is out the
it.
window.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
there's a level of betrayal there that's just brutal.
It is. It's like you could be like they said in Goodfellas, like when he was like, when he slipped him the matchbook to go down to Tampa or whatever to go kill it. And he said, I knew I would be killed, but he said, that's not how it happens. He goes, it happens to your best friend set you up. But like, it's crazy to me that you could go on vacations for years. You could sit with the family. You could love the kids. Yeah. And that scene in Donnie Brasco, where he just shoots the guy in the back of the head, and then they're in the car, and Donnie Brasco character, Johnny Depp's going like, how can you do that? Like, how can, he's like, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. He's like, the guy 20, he's like, we don't talk about it, Donnie. We don't talk about it. There's something really like sinister and creepy about, like, nuts.
Yes.
Like
I don't know. It's like, well, they know the rules. Everybody knows the rules. It's like, yeah, but you have a leader who's interpreting there's a chain of command. So when you're ordered to do something, there's no refusing it or debating it. You have to do it. So if you have a guy in power that is greedy, just a serial killer, there's some of those guys who are just like kill everybody. Yeah. If you have a guy in power like that, then you're forced to take orders and to carry out things that are, let's say, a crazy interpretation. They're justified by the rules, but it's not really the rules. It's really, this guy's either a serial killer or greedy or has a huge ego or whatever. He's a man, you know what I mean? It's like a man of power. the thing is, like, the old time bosses were more like supposedly like more like even keeled
Sure.
and more like about the actual rule, lived a low, beneath the radar lifestyle, lived in like row home, or didn't like had it like a
normal,
a low key, not to attract attention. But if you get this in the 80s, you had this another generation who was like didn't look at it that way.
Right.
And they looked at it like it's about, I'm getting all this money now. I was a street guy. I have all this money. I have all this ego. I have all this power. And it's like, and then that goes to your head. It's like anything. It goes to your head, and then you start making, less than judicious decisions for an organization, because that rips apart your, you start killing people, and it's not for a reason. That tears down your whole organization.
Yeah, it becomes more than like business. Business needs to be business.
Right.
I had Chris Italia when I did the Virzi Effect. You were on the Virzi Effect too. The Virzi Effect transitioned into this show, but when I had Chris Italia years and years ago on the Virzi Effect, we talked about the difference of who was a better Don. Was it Vito Corleone, or was it Michael Corleone? And for 45 to 50 minutes, Chris Italia broke down why Vito was the better Don than Michael.
Yes.
Because Michael like killed all of his problems.
Yes.
And he just kind of where Vito was way more diplomatic.
Yes, diplomatic.
And the old school.
Yes.
Now, speaking of old school, and I mentioned Paul Castellano was the head of the Gambino crime family, and he was killed outside of Sparks Steakhouse in New York City.
Right.
But he was an old school guy, right?
Yes.
He was the guy that would like that no drugs, right? Almost like Paul Sorvino in Goodfellas,
right?
Right.
Right.
And he was killed because of that, right?
Right.
Because he didn't like that. As far as like drugs and all that, right?
I think he was killed because they looked at him like more of a businessman, and he was from what the podcasts say, he was greedy. He was great. He was making all kinds of money, and then like the average street guys were like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, they were like trying to eke out a living, and he made sure his people. When Carlo Gambino died, the family divided into two factions. Paul Castellano had one faction, and Neil Delacroce had another faction of it. And so it was like a divided family, because Neil was the underboss, and so he should have actually become the boss. But on his deathbed, Carlo Gambino gave it to Paul Castellano was Carlo Gambino's brother-in-law, so he gave it to him.
Oh yes, I saw that. In
There was a divide in the family a little bit, and they were like, but Gotti's crew was arrested for dealing heroin. So they were rounded up, and that's a no-no. You know what I mean? Like, you deal, you die, kind of an edict that was put down. So they're arrested, and Castellano's asking for the tapes, the evidence, and they're refusing to give him the tapes. So he really has cause to kill that entire crew, kill everybody in it.
And they got him first.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that's, I don't have any inside knowledge. I just have what the information.
Well, it sounds like you fucking
what the
do.
information says on the podcast and books and
Netflix
stuff. I read all the books.
Netflix just did that whole thing where where it started in Sicily, and then when it came to New York, how it started. Did you see that on Netflix?
Huh.
Oh, dude, it was just like new.
Yeah.
It breaks down basically what you just said. So what's one for you? What's one like a?
That was a huge one. The Anastasia, no one really knows what happened with Albert Anastasia. Albert Anastasia is the boss of I want to say the Gambino crime family. And Carlo Gambino's his underboss. And Albert Anastasia is like a murderous guy.
He was the head of... He's the first one.
First one what?
Before Carlo.
Yes.
He's the first head of the Gambino crime.
No, there was somebody before him.
Okay.
I think too. One of the originals.
Okay.
Mangano maybe. I don't know. But Albert Anastasia is he's the head of Murder Incorporated, which is Italians and Jews who murdered people for hire. They were, I guess, controlled the docks.
Okay.
In Manhattan, and so he was the head of Murder Incorporated, just a brutal, brutal guy, and was getting a shave on like 57th and 6th, Park Sheridan Hotel. They're lathering him up. 3 gunmen walk in and shoot him. blow them to bits.
And what year is this now? Around
57.
Oh, okay.
1957.
Was
And
that
then-
so? Was that like one of the first big ones in New York City?
I think there was stuff before that, but that was a huge one.
That was a huge
Yeah,
one.
because it was in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's just during the day, the guy's got shaving cream on his face.
Yes.
And they just come in.
They come in and blow them away.
Um,
And that's like huge power shift. And no one knows what happens. Like, the commission must have approved it. There's no way that happens without massive repercussions if like the commission doesn't approve that. So
sure.
you know what I mean? There
Yeah,
must have
yeah,
been
like that
a
gets
plot
to be-
somehow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because these things need to be approved
Yes,
and okayed.
yeah.
And if you do that without the approval,
Right.
okay, then you could get
Then
killed,
you
right?
get killed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how these guys are really kind of like organized.
For being
For like
being
the worst
criminals,
shit.
there's a lot of rules. That's what I find to be funny too.
Yeah, because like in the military,
Yeah.
if they're like you have an order to bomb.
Yeah, but I like because it's I'll break down why I like the mob podcast is because it's Italian guys sitting around and talking. I have a place in my heart for like especially older Italian guys. Like I really love it. I was in Atlantic City back when the Brigada, Mazzilis were booking the Brigada.
Yeah, I used to do that room.
So I go and I went and they get a great gym there and I work out and I go outside and there's 4 old Italian guys from Providence sitting there and I start talking to them and of course I invite them to the show. I get them tickets, everything. And they start talking. And it's like, things aren't what they used to be. And they just go into it.
Yeah.
It's like never as good now as it was. It was always great before and it's never good now. And just listening to the conversation, it's just, I don't. There's something about it that's very endearing. Even though I might not agree with. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing.
Sure.
It's about the just the music of the conversation and it's
100%.
and the way that they're going. It's very familiar to me.
Yes.
And it's very like endearing. I really like that.
And I think that is because it's something that you're very comfortable with because you grew up with it.
Yes.
And like it's almost like nostalgic for you.
Right. It's nostalgic.
It's nostalgic. Like
and it makes it feel like it makes it. I guess this is why everyone watches podcasts so that they can feel like they have a friend or whatever.
Yes.
And it's like I'm no different. I'm feeling like I'm feeling my childhood and I'm feeling growing up listening to it.
Well,
it's listening to these guys talk.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because there is something like when you hear an old Italian guy talk about like a restaurant.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, see what they do, they don't do this anymore.
Yeah.
What this guy did, he would take the extra fat and put it in for the flavor. And just listening to that, it means so much to them.
Yes.
I love that too. It is nostalgic. My dad is 100% Sicilian.
Yeah.
My dad is from the Bronx, 100% Sicilian.
Right.
He grew up in the Bronx in the 60s, 50s and 60s, and he just has that, like, even when I talk to him, he'll just be like, things aren't what they were. They used to make things with quality.
Yes.
And everything was now everything. But because that's what it is, about quality,
Yeah.
getting your money's worth.
Right.
All that things were less
Pride.
expensive. Pride
in what you're doing. Yeah.
Pride in what you're doing, and what's really funny about the old school Italian guys, and we'll get back to the hits in a second. But the hits, like it's songs, is when they talk about like, a man needs, my dad would say, a man needs nice shoes. People don't dress. These kids, everyone's wearing, baggy, sweatpants and stuff. He's like, even in a midday, just to go to a store, you put on nice slacks, you put on a thing.
Yeah.
And, but it's like you said, and the word that you said hit the nail on the head is pride.
Yes.
They
pride.
splash some cologne and put a nice watch on and go outside and just look the part.
Yes.
Get their hair, do the hair.
Yeah.
Nice car. Their cars were clean.
Right.
Talking about that makes you go, because it's not really like that now.
No, it's not.
It really, like, as much as that sounds old and you can roll your eyes and be like, yeah, kind of a lot of it is true.
Yes, it is true. And it's a lot of these guys have it's a Italian guy thing where it's like there's a lot of charisma there.
100%.
There's a lot of charisma, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of charisma, and you're drawn towards it. At least I am. I'm drawn towards it. And there's also a thing too where it's like, and my father had this kind of charisma where it's like, you can be tough, like very, very tough, but you can also cry.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird thing where it's like, but it's like, it's very, you can be emotional and show that side of you, but you can also be very tough.
Yeah.
And I think Italians have that.
Yes.
Where it's like you can see both sides of it. You don't got to, it's like the old West where these guys are tough guys and stoic. It's like that's not who we are.
No.
You know what I mean? And and there's something very endearing about that. My father had that too, where it's like I grew up watching that, where it's like, oh, you can be strong, but you can still be emotional.
Yeah.
And you can still be emotionally available, and you can tell people that you love them and kiss them on the face and then have them over for it and just show them being emotional about it. But you can also be tough also. So
yeah, I think we're very passionate people, Italians in that region of the world, actually.
Yes.
Like that region of the world, because my mother's Greek, but that Mediterranean thing that we have, like hugging, kissing, kissing on the face and just like the way. Dude, is anything funnier than an Italian guy biting a piece of food that's delicious? It's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
When they bite, they make noise. My dad will make noise. Oh God, this so like it's just, but that's just passion.
Yeah.
And that's what we are, man. Like there is a lot of, the crying thing is true.
Yes.
The crying thing is true.
And that's not like in any other culture, it's like, well, that's a knock. It's like, it's not.
No.
It's really not.
I always says I kind of see that to be able to get emotional is a little bit, in my opinion, there's a strength there.
There is a strength. There's a strength and vulnerability.
To just be like, what, this is how I'm feeling.
Yes.
I think it's kind of weak to bottle.
Yes,
That's a weakness.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
an insecurity. Yeah, yeah.
No, I think like professionals, like psychiatrists have said, like that's just that bottled up stuff. That's the kind of the opposite of strength.
Right.
Strength is letting it out, going, fuck, I need to release.
Yes.
Family
Guy. Let me just say one more thing on this, because Family Guy sometimes nails Italians.
It's the best.
It's so funny.
Oh my God.
Because they nail. It's like that joke writing that hits you right in that sweet spot.
Oh God. Remember they were at the table and they go, "Your brother Louis is gay." Exactly, he's creative. You're breaking her heart. You're breaking her heart. Oh,
Peter. Louis not gay. Louis not gay. He's creative. But there's one with it's one with Chris goes to an Italian school, which is a Votech. He goes to a Votech and they grab his face. He grabs Peter's face or something. He goes, I'm showing affection, but establishing dominance. It's like when you pinch somebody's cheek, it's like, I'm showing affection while simultaneously establishing dominance.
It's so perfect.
It's so perfect because that's exactly what it is.
It's dude.
My uncles used to slap me
Family
to
Guy
say hello. They used to slap me in the face. Boom. Hi, Mikey. How are you? Boom. Smack me in the face. Hard. And I'm like, what the? And it's just love.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's also too, there is like a dominance thing. Yeah. Like when you show up and, oh, look who's got new shoes. Like when they do shit like that, it's also like not a slight, but like it's kind of to let you know, like, hey, don't be a big shot.
Yeah, don't be a big shot.
Don't get smart.
Yeah.
Look at this guy walking in with and you're like, oh, this guy's busting balls, but it's also like tone it down.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an under,
There's an undercurrent of that.
Yeah,
yes.
I did something on the Netflix special, on my Netflix special, and my dad goes, do I do that? But I said, like, my dad will build up before he gives you like, you're great. Listen, that was great. Everything is good, blah, blah, blah. What you did there was but why would, and then he comes in, he comes in, one of the things on my special. So my dad's very, very prideful with like being Sicilian and the names and everything. So my daughter's name is Sophia Virzi, Sophia with a F, right? But her middle name, my wife is not Italian. My wife is like everything but Mediterranean.
Yes.
She's Finnish. She's Swedish. She's Finnish, English, Irish, German, everything, right? So my wife's middle name is Erin. And I did this bit on my special. But he really meant it. He called me up because I named Sophia Erin for respect for my wife.
Right.
So my daughter's name is Sophia Erin Virzi. So my dad calls up and he goes, oh, Sophia's beautiful, beautiful, strong Italian name. It's so beautiful. And then he just goes, but I got to ask you something. And he did. And he goes,
I love the switch in energy.
But it was because it was, and he's like, Erin, where does that seems Irish. That's not us. And I was like, Dad, my wife. Okay, don't get excited. But to him, he wanted to know, like, you did the Sophia Virzi's are strong like us, but then you threw the Erin in. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But that's the way. But I always said they build up before what they really want to say comes in.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about
That's a great I don't call it a maneuver, but it's a great thing.
Yeah. Joey Gallo. That was a big one.
Yes.
Right?
Because they were trying to get
what was the restaurant? His name? Alberto?
Umberto's.
Umberto's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Umberto's Clam House.
He was with his family.
Well, he was celebrating his birthday.
Yep.
And then, so he went out, celebrated his birthday. It was like 4 a.m. He's hungry.
By the way, I don't mean to cut you off. I love how I'll give you the hit and then you fucking, you just break everything. You're like, listen, dude, it was 7:30. Okay, he was hungry. He had a little, but he has acid reflux. So he's got to eat at a certain time.
Well, he wanted to go to this other place, but it was closed. He wanted to go to this, I think, Chinese restaurant, but it's closed. It's like 4 a.m. now. So they go to Umberto's, and there's a war. There's a war going on, I think, at the time. A Colombo. There's like 3 Colombo wars.
That's right.
It's like a Colombo war. And I think Profaci was the boss, and just old school and, not letting the money flow downhill. So the Gallo, and he had brothers who were like, trying to take over the family. So that's the war.
Yeah, because he had a brother. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a brother.
His brother had the best name, Albert Kid Blast Gallo. That's such a great name. Albert Kid Blast Gallo.
What didn't Capone have a big one? What was it? The Valentine's Day
Yeah, that's amazing to me. That whole
thing. Tell me, because I don't know it.
The St. Valentine's Day Massacre?
I saw a picture of it on a wall somewhere, and somebody goes, and dude, it was like, I saw like blood and everything. It was like somebody had like a black and white, and they go, that's the Valentine's Day, and I don't know. So tell us that, Mike.
Okay, so he and
what year we're talking? 40s?
19. I don't know the
30s
exact
or 40s.
year.
Okay.
30s or 40s.
Okay.
Maybe the 30s. Anyway, he's having a war with. It's not. The outfit hasn't taken over Chicago yet. It's still. There's different groups. Bugs Moran, I think, is his rival, and they're fighting over. I don't know if Prohibition was still going, but they fought in Prohibition.
Yes.
And Bugs Moran has a crew, and they're fighting, back and forth with liquor and whatever, different rackets. So Al Capone goes to Florida, and he sets up a meeting with Bugs Moran's guys, or there's a meeting set up at this location with Bugs Moran's main guys. It's like 7 of them. So they all show up to have a meeting with Capone, and Capone's in Florida.
And Capone's guys.
Capone's guy. He set up a meeting with Capone's guys, yeah. But Capone, I think, is supposed to be there. Bugs Moran is supposed to be there. It's supposed to be this big powwow, this big meeting. So I think like 2 people or 1 or 2 people from Capone's gang show up, and 7 or like people show up from Moran's gang. So they're meeting. They have the meeting, and then the cops come. The cops show up, and they're like busting the meeting. So they put Capone's people over to the side. They put all Moran's guys against the wall, and then the cops just mow them down with bullets. Just shoot all of them.
The cops mow down.
Yes, but they're not really cops. They're Capone's guys dressed like cops.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's all a setup. So he mows them down. I mean, just a Tommy gun, just cuts them in half, most of them, physically. Just mows them down because they're just standing against the wall waiting to get frisked. And they mow them down. They think they're cops. They're not cops. They're Capone's guys.
Holy shit.
And
dude,
one
I did
guy,
not know that.
This is the most unbelievable. One guy, like 6 of them, I forget if there was 6 or 9 of them. 6 of them are dead when the actual cops get there. One guy is still alive. They get into a hospital. They ask him, who did this to you? The guy says, I don't know what you're talking about. He refuses to talk. He refuses to talk. They're like, you're going to die.
Like all of his boys just got slayed.
All of them murdered.
Like, yeah.
And he goes, who did this to you? The guy, he's going to die. Who did this to you? And the guy says, I don't know what you're talking about. Did the guy die? Yes.
The guy died of gunshot wounds?
Yes.
And he just didn't rat.
Didn't say anything.
Wow.
Unbelievable. That thing where it's like, that's how far we've come, where it's like, we have everything on podcast now, but that's a guy who's like not making it out, has the opportunity to get back at the guys who just shot him by saying, because I'm sure he knew who it was, and refused to do it.
Talk about living by a code.
Oh my God, that's living by a code.
That's living by a code. And not to mention, some of those people are probably dear friends. that got mowed down.
Yes.
Like that's his
Yeah,
crew.
yeah, it's crew.
So those
whole
guys
crew.
eat together.
Yeah.
Those guys have coffee. Yeah, that's crazy.
But did you ever think the other side of it, where it's like it's St. Valentine's Day? This happened on February 14th in like 1939
in Chicago? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever think that the women were like, he's out again, just doing whatever? It's like they're waiting for flowers. They're waiting for flowers because it's St. Valentine's Day, and they're like,
he's betting on horses.
yeah,
he's doing
out
something. He's
being
out
a
with his
guy's
buddies.
like, meanwhile he got mowed down.
He's playing bocce
Yeah.
ball with the crew.
But it's ironic that it's not ironic. It's like it's so Capone is in Florida at the time, so he makes sure like he's not anywhere. They can't put him anywhere close to it. He makes sure he has an alibi.
That's insane.
Yeah.
The fact that I got to be honest with you, like, you hate to call a mass murder clever,
Yeah.
but the fact that he had his people dress up as police officers. One of my favorite movies, Mike. It's one of the only movies. So, like, going to the movies means a lot to me because when my parents were divorced, I was 5. My brother Christian was 10, and visitation days with my dad were on Sunday, and we were with my dad from noon to 8 every Sunday. So we would do something during the day, have dinner, and we would go home. And movies was a big one, and we would go to Movie Land a lot in Yonkers, New York, and that's where he took me to see Eddie Murphy Raw and all this stuff. But one movie that we loved so much, and we sat in the theater and waited for the theater to fill again, and we watched it back to back. We went on a Sunday afternoon, okay? We went on a Sunday afternoon in Yonkers. We sat in the movie. We were like, holy shit, that was amazing. We sat and we let it run. We ran it back and we did it again back to back. So it was basically like a 5-hour day just in the movies, and then had dinner and went home, and it was Untouchables. And it was it was when Kevin Costner played Elliot Ness going after Capone, which was De Niro.
Yeah.
And the role that, what's his name?
Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia, but also Sean Connery.
Yes.
Sean Connery, when he put the guy up that was already dead and shot him in the mouth just to make the guy talk.
Yeah.
Dude, like, incredible.
Yeah.
But we can't sit here and by the way, guys, we're just doing like, this is for, I don't want to say Killing People is the best of. We're just doing like the hits of this to happen. Yeah. But we can't do this without one of the biggest hits in history. You know what I'm going to say? I mean, I'll give you a hint. They recently made a movie about it, but it's one of the biggest hits in history. They were looking for the guy forever. They still don't know where he is.
Oh, yeah. Hoffa.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
You know, done by the mob.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Done by the mob. Or the Irishman.
The Irishman.
The Irishman. So not an Italian.
Well, I mean, Italians like...
Italians higher.
First of all, people... I read that book. I Paint Houses. What's it called?
I Hear You Paint Houses.
I Hear You Paint Houses. Yeah. So I read the book, and then obviously the movie is based on the book.
Yeah.
But a lot of people on these podcasts, these guys who cooperate, they say that never happened the way that it happened.
I heard that Scorsese and them found out that, like, after 10 years and all this stuff, that the guy told them, this is the house and this is where it happened. And they actually shot it in the house that they said.
Did they?
Where it happened, yeah.
Okay.
And then he was, like, immediately, I guess, incinerated or whatever.
Yes.
But then I just saw something recently, what you just said, where they go, he was killed in a car and the car got crushed. The car got crushed and he was in a car. So nobody technically really knows. But I heard that when they did The Irishman, this was what they really thought happened.
Well, he was, you know, if you look at the facts, it's like he got out of prison and was trying to get power back in his union, which was controlled by the Genovese family.
Yeah.
Tony Provenzano was the guy. He's in the movie, you know, he's in the movie. And but he was like,
oh, you know who played Tony?
Who?
Dom. Dom Lombardozzi.
No, Dom. I love Dom.
Oh wait, Dom played Tony. Didn't he play?
He played the boss.
Okay.
Tony.
Okay, the other Tony.
Salerno.
He played Tony Salerno. Okay.
Yeah, Dom played. Dom's unreal.
Dude, Dom's
such a great actor.
He played the other. He played the head guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He played Tony Salerno, but it's the guy who played. He played Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire. He's a Scottish actor. I don't know his name.
Oh, dude, he's
great.
That's the one.
He played Al Capone.
He was in Adolescence. He's the one that when Pacino goes, "This is how you dress?" He goes, "It's 90." He goes, "This is for a meeting," and he goes, "This is how you dress." And so he goes, "For a meeting." Yeah.
So that guy Tony Provenzano, the real guy, was a powerful guy.
Okay.
And then he got into it with because Hoffa was trying to take and they didn't want him back. They had Fitzsimmons, who was just, because Hoffa would push back, because he cared about Fitzsimmons would do whatever they wanted, and they were like, we don't need Hoffa back, and Hoffa was like pushing to get back, so they warned him a couple times, and then he was making like more and more noise, and these guys do not like any noise. Like it's like. He was just making more and more noise. So they were like, and it was tough to pull off because he's such a high profile guy. But there were two guys who were still alive, brothers that lived in Las Vegas. They're dead now, but they died recently, like 2020. And because different guys did different things. It's like a couple guys, I think one guy did the hit, and then there was a whole cleanup crew different from the hit crew. They do that sometimes. So if somebody flips, they don't know where the bodies are. They don't have the information. If someone flips, they don't have all the information.
So wait, what do they do? Explain that more. Like, what do you mean?
It's like they'll tell the guy, they'll set up the hit, and they'll have a guy do the hit and a team do the hit. And then they'll have a cleanup crew separate from them. So they'll just come in afterwards. The guys will never see each other. Like if it's done in a house,
so
they'll come and like clean it up, and so if the shooter flips, they go, "Where's the body?" And he goes,
so you
"I
mean
don't
the
know
cleaning
where the
crew
body."
doesn't have any information really?
No.
Oh, okay.
They don't even give the guys the shoot. Like in this case, if they just want like a regular guy hit, they don't even give any information as to why. They just go, the only thing you need to know is it's this guy and he needs to be gone. And it's like there's no background. There's no explanation. It's an order.
It's an order.
So you go do it.
You go do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's crazy. So I think personally he got incinerated. These guys had contacts, all funeral homes. They had businesses, and it's probably a mob funeral home
I think so.
where he was just incinerated.
Yeah, I think that, like, I heard during the making of The Irishman, which took 10 years, I heard, basically from when they first thought about doing it to talking to everybody to actually getting it. That was the problem, because the only problem people had with The Irishman was the age thing, because they couldn't do the CGI to make him look a little younger. Right. So like they made, like, you know, they did like when De Niro was kicking the guy in front of his daughter, it was like from far away and stuff like that. But I think in there talking to people that they said he was the best to their knowledge that he was probably incinerated immediately. Probably like the body killed, taken, and got. And like you said, if the funeral home stuff is part of their businesses, it's very easy to take him and just go do that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And they had those kinds of ties. It's like, it's like one thing about the mafia that I find fascinating. It's like they weren't outlaws. They weren't. They were criminals, but they were so ingrained. That's why it's very hard to get them out, to prosecute them. You needed a special RICO law. You needed all kinds of special prosecutorial tools to get them out because they were so ingrained in society. They had police. They had politicians. They had unions. And didn't they have? And everybody was on everybody. We were paying all these. Like everybody got paid. Everybody made money.
But didn't they also have legitimate businesses?
Yes,
too?
Legitimate businesses.
They would have like a legitimate restaurant. They would have a legitimate business. Yeah. If you probably know, you obviously know this better than me because I thought I knew shit. But I think when this started in Sicily, like when this first started, I think these mob guys that eventually got on the boat and came here and started everything in New York back in the day, I think that it started as they were just like protectors of land of people in Sicily, right?
Well, my father told me, what my father told me coming up is like they were
like rebels that would help you protect your land?
Because Italy wasn't unified until 1861 as a country. It's always a weak central government. But like they would go the opposite. Like it's with Italians, it's family first. Mm-hmm. Your family is the most. They said in The Godfather, it's like, because when Michael goes to serve the country, he goes, "What, are you going to die for a bunch of strangers?" Yeah. It's like that's really the Sicilian and Southern Italian mentality. Was that when
Sonny said that to him?
Yeah, he goes, "You're going to go die for a bunch of strangers." It's like that's frowned. Like it's family first, and then friends, and then the community, and then it goes out. Country's the last thing because Italy was it was so fragmented, and these Germanic tribes would come in and slaughter the people. And, so in order to protect themselves, they had what was called the Black Hand to protect the people against these foreign invaders. That's what I was told, growing up. Like it was really to protect the Italians against foreign invaders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think I guess when they were simplifying it at the beginning, I got to send you the thing. I'm going to send you a picture of the documentary that's on, because it basically shows, starts in Italy.
Yeah.
And shows the history of how Italy, like these rebels would protect people's, stuff like that. Like you just said, protect their land and do it until ultimately it got a little more organized than they came to. But then when they got to New York, how the Gambino, Carl, it all really started.
Right.
Well, it's because it started in New York.
Yes. It started in New York, but then I think before Lucky Luciano established a commission with 5 families all working together, it was just, and they have it in Boardwalk Empire, which is like 2 main bosses, Joe Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano, and they were just killing each other back and forth, and it was like, Lucky Luciano stepped up. It's like there's no reason we can't all work together. And also Jews were like a big part of it back then. Just like, and we can bring Jews in. We can bring Harlem, black people. We can bring in anybody who makes us money, and we can all, there's no reason for us to be killing each other. We all want to make money.
It's making money.
Yeah, making money.
Right.
And you can't do that if you're constantly looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
So there's a way, it's like the commission's really amazing because it's a government body of criminal organization in order to deal with beefs and deal with problems in a way that's not violent.
It's crazy that there are people to this day in Queens, that go, if John Gotti was here, the streets, things would be cleaned up, and it would be organized because like nobody fucked around. It was safe. And all that.
Right.
And it is funny that like criminal organizations are that organized like a government.
Because I gotta say, I mean, it gets morphed in like, but I think that back in the day, Italian organized crime, like in some they really did have an investment in the community. They really did. Like they really
lived there.
Yes, their families lived there, and they really did care about their areas.
Yes,
you know what I mean. There was a fondness, there was a love for their areas. Yeah.
Well, that's why like some business owners would cry and go, we were protected.
Yes,
we were safe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Plus, the guys, their kids were in that community.
Yes.
Everybody was in those communities of Brooklyn and Queens.
Right.
So they wanted to be safe.
Yes.
And they ensured that it was safe.
Yes.
Talk about, because I know you know this one, and I know this is a big one, and we'll do this. I could sit here with you.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the longest Paul's Best, and it's incredible. By the way, it's incredible. So thank you for
Paul's Best, Paul's Longest,
Paul's Best and Longest. Pesci's character in Goodfellas.
Yes.
Tommy DeSimone.
Yeah.
Did it go down like that in the house? Did they set it?
There's a whole YouTube about like the lies.
Was
of
he told
Goodfellas.
that he was going to be made that day and go to something like that? Was that
I think that part was
made up.
No, I think that was true.
Oh, okay.
But I think the reason that he got killed was they said that he murdered one of Gotti's. They have the Frank Vincent's role, Billy Batts. Yeah. They had them killing him in the bar.
Yeah.
And that was the reason. But they said he did kill Billy Batts. Him and Jimmy Burke killed Billy Batts, but that wasn't the reason. That was maybe one of the reasons. But he was, first of all, he's a wild guy. He was a wild, like murderous guy.
Okay.
They said, and not short like Joe Pesci, like a big tall
guy. I saw the pictures. Yeah.
So, but they said he killed one of Gotti's friends, a guy who was very close to Gotti. The guy's name was Foxy, and he was Tommy DeSimone was I don't know, somebody was sleeping with somebody's wife. I can't remember which way it went.
Oh, okay,
but or Tommy DeSimone was dating Foxy's sister.
Oh, okay.
and smacked her around.
Oh boy! And
so Foxy went to go get revenge, get to, fight him. And he opened the door, and then Tommy DeSimone shot him in the head. He shot him in the head. So he's dead, and he's very close to Gotti. And
what?
So that's why there's like
how
a
do
whole
you know
beef
that?
with the Gambinos.
That's
I go on all these YouTube
That's
videos.
insane.
Yeah.
So he just went to go get like.
He went to go like, don't put your hands on my sister, and Tommy DeSimone shot him in the head, and killed him. So he's dead, and then and he was like associated with the Gambinos and Gotti. So, and that with the Billy Batts thing, it was like an easy, they put the pressure on, and because it was Paul Vario was that was his uncle, so he was related, and plus I think he was related to somebody in the he got a pass a couple times because he was related to people. Tommy DeSimone did.
Yep.
But after those 2 murders, especially the Foxy one, they were like,
it's done.
Either you do it or we'll do it. Yeah, that's sometimes a thing where it's like you can do it or we can do it. If we do it, it's going to be much more painful. We're going to torture him. If you do it, you'll do it fast. We're not going to do it fast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
wow.
So that's why he walked in.
So like the head guys are like, if we do it, you don't want us to do it, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, so you go do
Yeah.
it. Wow. Do you have any other ones that you could think of? Because we got the Castellano, we got the Hoffa, we got
Spilatro brothers. That's the casino one.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
Are we missing any? We got the Valentine's Day. I'm trying to think of the
St. Valentine's Day Massacre was a huge one. Yeah.
Was all that shit true? Like Mo Green and all that shit?
No, I think it's loosely based
on him,
off
like,
stuff. Yeah.
Him taking care of his loose ends like that.
Yeah. But Jewish guys were like a big part of it back in the day. It's weird that Jewish, they transitioned into like doctors and lawyers and it kind of transitioned out of it. Whereas Italians, we had this organization like bringing their sons into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like handing it down generations, bringing your sons into it was more of a thing. I think the Jewish guys kind of used it as a means to an end to get money.
Bugsy Siegel?
Whereas Bugsy Siegel and who was the biggest guy was with Lucky Luciano. He played Hyman Roth in the movie, but that's not his real name. He was a big Jewish gangster that was like with Lucky Luciano and was like just made huge money.
Are we missing one, Mike? Can you think of one? Are we missing one?
And a lot of people say Kennedy.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people say Kennedy. Yeah.
A lot of people say Kennedy was a mob hit.
Yes, because the unions helped John F. Kennedy get elected. Yes. And that was mob controlled. And then when he got elected, because Joe Kennedy, the father of John Kennedy, was a bootlegger.
Yes,
so
that I knew.
He had ties. He had ties to the mob. So
was that Hoffa's unions that helped?
Yes,
it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, because then Robert Kennedy started prosecuting and started going after them, and
Kennedy had an issue with.
Yes, they felt the mob felt blindsided by it because we helped you and your brother we helped you guys get elected. And then you turned on it. They took it as a betrayal.
Yes.
So,
and I think that could
and then on the wiretap of them, a conversation with Carlos Marcello saying that if you want to kill the horse, cut the head off and the tail will fall. Meaning, if you want to stop Robert Kennedy, kill John F. Kennedy, and then Robert F. Kennedy will be powerless.
That might be the biggest. I would probably have to be the biggest if the mob did that to John F. Kennedy.
Yes,
that's the biggest mob hit in history. I mean, it would have
biggest mob hit in history.
It's the President of the United States of America.
Yes.
In broad daylight.
Yes.
I mean, that's wild.
Wild.
That's wild. And people had to know about it. You know what I mean? They think what's his name knew about it. And based on everything, all the docs that I saw and things that I've read and seen about that, Lyndon Johnson knew that Kennedy was in trouble. I believe it.
I believe that too.
I believe it too.
But I believe that I thought it was a mob for a long time, and now I think maybe it was the CIA.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was the CIA because Marilyn Monroe had been killed. That was definitely the CIA.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Who killed her?
Yeah.
You know, because I think she was sleeping with the president and Robert Kennedy. So I think
that's wild.
And I think that she was going to let all of it out.
Yeah, she might have had to go.
Yeah.
Like in their mind.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. This is the longest.
We got to the bottom of some stuff.
So we got to the bottom of some stuff. We talked about like the historic ones that it really is kind of cool that the mob movies that they make are based on truth, just to learn about it.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't know, but I did not know about the Tommy DeSimone thing with the sister. That's very interesting. A lot of stuff. You know, guys, he's not just one of the funniest. You know, if you want any mob information, I mean, any mob information.
I got a lot of time on my hands.
I'm sitting here talking about like the classics that are in movies and that are like have been on like TV, and you're just like, actually, Paul.
Well, now with the internet, you can go down all these rabbit holes and like figure out like who's did what and
You're like,
the background, because people do all this research. Everybody's an internet sleuth now.
Mike's like, listen, he's a Sagittarius, and I don't know if you know about them, but if you cross them in October, Mike Vecchione, one of the funniest. Thank you for being here. Plug all your shit. Plug everything.
Can you please follow me on socials at Comic Mike V, across the board at Comic Mike V, and I'm trying to like work on my YouTube channel. So at Comic Mike V on YouTube, at Comic Mike V Instagram, and across all platforms. I have 2 specials on YouTube. One is called The Attractives 2023, and then 2025 one is called Low Income White. It's both produced by Nate Land. My friend Nate Bargatze is kind enough to let me put them on his channel. And so please watch my specials and follow me on socials. Thank you.
Guys,
Thanks
I can tell you right now, dude, you'll never be disappointed with Mike Vecchione. He's one of the best writers, one of the best comics. He's just so funny, and you'll thank me after you watch the special. Speaking of YouTube channels, guys, go to Paul's Best YouTube channel or just my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button. You'll get all the full-length episodes and clips of Paul's Best podcast. Get it everywhere you get your podcasts, to iTunes, Spotify. Click that subscribe button, and please leave reviews. Write reviews, because it moves the show up, and we appreciate it. As far as shows, guys, right now I got some stuff going on this summer, but I'm coming back with a fall tour starting in Boston on September 10th. So go to paulvirzi.com for that. We're adding a bunch more dates too. So hit the subscribe button on the YouTube. Go to paulvirzi.com. Get tickets to see me in Boston. We're adding a bunch of cities in the next 2 weeks. So I hope to see you guys on the road. Mike, thank you for being here.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me.
And yeah, check out all my specials on my YouTube channel too. I'd say follow me, but that'd be weird because you are following me. Take care.